I bought a real server. This is standard rack size. This is ridiculous. I've seen lots of server content online. These things are bigger in person, I swear. So this is a Dell PowerEdge R610. It's only like a decade old. I paid 330 Canadian dollars for it, and it has 2 CPUs in it. Each CPU is 6 cores and 12 threads for a total of 12 physical CPU cores and 24 threads. Lots of CPU in this thing. It also has 72 gigabytes of RAM. I know what you're thinking. Big old Xeon server with lots of RAM in it. How much storage is this thing packing? How many terabytes of data can you fit on here? 300 gigabytes. There's only one drive in it, and the drive here, 300 gigabytes. My laptop has more storage than this thing. That's okay though, because what I'm after is on the inside. Let's crack this thing open. Wow, that's a lot of hardware. Holy. Oh wow, we got a whole manual on here too. Look at that. We got instructions here on how to change the drives, the power supplies, the CPUs, even take out the entire motherboard. That's actually a pretty cool piece of documentation right on the inside of the panel here. And that is what $300 worth of admittedly 15-year-old server hardware looks like. That is a lot of printed circuit board. There's something about having 2 CPU sockets in a computer. With all the RAM surrounding it and the 2 heat sinks, these things just look so cool. At the front, there's 12 individual fans along with 6 bays for hard drives. That's where our singular 300 gigabyte hard drive is being stored. But this is a SAS hard drive, not a SATA drive. And this drive is 10,000 RPM. For reference, a normal laptop drive, which is about this size, runs at 5,400 RPM, and high performance one and most desktop drives will run at 7,200. This is 10,000 RPM. I gotta benchmark this up against laptop drives and see how it does. It is made in 2009. As is most of this stuff. It's very old, but it'll still be interesting. I'm just looking at this RAM now. Each of these sticks is 16 gigabytes. The listing said that this had 72 gigs of RAM, but this is actually 96 gigabytes? I wonder if the seller knew about that. That's interesting. There's also one RAM stick that's different. All of the DIMMs are Samsung except for this one that is SK Hynix. Right smack in the middle of this board is our host bridge adapter. This is what connects the 6 drives through the backplane to the computer. And I just recently learned now, I thought that SAS and SATA were not compatible at all, but it turns out you can just put SATA drives in this and it will just work. They're completely compatible with each other. You just can't use SAS hard drives on a SATA controller, but SATA drives on a SAS controller, apparently that's fine. I didn't know that. There's also 2 additional slots for expansion cards. We're gonna put a graphics card in this at some point. Gaming server, it'll happen, it'll happen. In terms of I/O, this thing has, of course, 2 power inputs, and then next to that, 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, a USB port, VGA, and then serial and the management console, which is also Ethernet. And then around the front, we've got the 6 drive bays, the little screen with some buttons to interface with that, the DVD drive, because of course you need a DVD drive, and then another VGA and 2 USBs. There's also an additional USB port on the inside for if you want to run your operating system from USB. Just server stuff. It's cool. There is nothing I want to do more at this point than plug this thing in and turn it on. Let's see what it does. I'm gonna hit the power button and we'll see what happens. Wow, that's loud. Is it doing anything? No? No, not yet. Windows? I guess that must be on that 300 gigabyte hard drive. I don't know where else it would be loading it from, but yeah, I wonder if this is Windows Server. Can confirm Windows Server 2019 standard evaluation. Apparently I only have a license for 178 more days. That's cool, I guess. It's also got the old Windows wallpaper from like back when Windows 10 launched. Apparently the highest resolution I'm allowed to select here is 1280 by 1024, but it's working now. I'm happy, that's good enough. Let's see Task Manager. I want to see all those CPU cores. Performance. What? Did I get scammed? My dual 6-core CPUs is currently showing up as 4 cores, 8 threads. Okay, we're gonna have to sort that out maybe. But I can now confirm that this does indeed have 96 gigabytes of RAM, despite the seller claiming it only had 72 gigabytes. So I guess that's a score. I really just don't know what's up with those CPU cores. Maybe we need to look at the BIOS of this thing. Yeah, number of cores per processor. It was set to dual. You can also have single, quad, or all. What is the advantage of disabling CPU cores? Can you let me know in the comments, what do you use that for? And why was it on this thing? I also stuck my own SSD in here because the copy of Windows Server that was running on this was terribly out of date and causing a bunch of problems and not working properly, so hopefully this fixes stuff. This is working much better now. Task Manager now correctly reports that we have 12 CPU cores and 24 threads, which means we are ready to benchmark this thing. I want to find out how it compares to a modern desktop and an era equivalent desktop that would have been around the time of this thing. To benchmark the CPU, I'm running Cinebench R15, and it is doing this very, very quickly. It's already done. We scored 1,350 points. That is a lot for how old this thing is. For reference, this CPU launched in, I think, 2010. A roughly era equivalent desktop Core i5 is roughly 3.2 times slower than this system. Just for fun, comparing this thing to the free computer, it got 268 points, which is about 5 times less than this thing. That being said, it does significantly fall short of a modern high-end desktop or gaming computer. A Ryzen 7 5800X system will get about 2,500 points, which is about 1.9 times what this got, almost twice the score. And then a 12th gen Core i9 12900K, which even that is technically a few years old at this point, will get 3,500 points. That is 2.6 times the number of points this thing got. So yes, CPU technology has progressed in the last 10 years, but this thing being in competition with a modern CPU is still pretty cool, especially when you consider that if you were able to buy one of these back when it was new, you would be looking at about 5 times the CPU performance of a laptop that you could buy at that time. This is roughly the same vintage, and it only got 260 points. Something else that's pretty cool about a server like this, the dual power supplies can be plugged into 2 different power sources, and usually the load is just shared between them, but if one of them drops out, I can completely unplug this, and the load will just shift over and put it all on one of them. Even if there was a complete hardware failure of this power supply that meant you had to take it out of the server, no interruption to the servers working. It's still running just fine. And then when the power is restored, all of the load that's on this supply will shift over and it'll run on both of them. Very cool stuff. One more thing I want to find out while we've got Windows loaded here. How much faster is that 10,000 RPM SAS hard drive compared to a regular 5,400 RPM laptop drive? I've got Crystal Diskmark pulled up, and the laptop hard drive was able to get 108 megabytes per second read speeds. Let's test the SAS drive. 193 megabytes per second. That is close to being double. I guess when you think about it, you would kind of expect that it would be almost double because the actual rotational speed the hard drive's spinning around is roughly twice as fast. So yeah, it's too bad I don't have 5 more SAS hard drives to put in here. That would be pretty cool, but I think I've reached my limit of buying hard drives. I'm not buying SAS hard drives too. It just blue screened. I guess that's where we're ending off. That is what you get when you buy a Dell PowerEdge R610 on eBay. What's that software Inc. quote about servers? A server is just a regular computer, just with more internet. That really is true, isn't it? Like, this is just running Windows, and you could totally use this as a desktop computer. That sounds like a future video. Get subscribed if you want to see that. Maybe we'll stick a graphics card in here, try to play some games on it. Anyway, I have lots of plans for this thing. Get subscribed so you don't miss those. I'll see you later. Bye.